town. I moved to Barrington with my wife and 2 boys about 9 years ago. And I think that, as we all know, becoming an age-friendly town is something that we could certainly achieve. There's an organization called Age Friendly Rhode Island that's very interested and active in having towns become friendly. For 25 years, I was a nursing home administrator, assisted living administrator, executive director. I currently work for a health insurance and their senior care product. And I'm also very active with SAGE, which is an LGBTQ senior aging organization. So thank you again for the opportunity, and I hope to be of service to the town.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Shaw? Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. And for both of you, no matter what happens tonight, from what we've learned, we may be calling on you sooner rather than later. So, okay, so we've heard from both candidates for this second position. Does anyone want to make a motion? Yeah.
Vacancy tonight. It's the second alternate. That person that you will appoint will become the second alternate. When I get the resignations and 2 full members, that second alternate, Michelle, my assistant, will call the second alternate and say, would you like to move up to a full member? The first alternate never wants to leave being the first alternate. That was never a first alternate. So the person.
Brief explanation of that proposed ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. President. What this ordinance would do would amend our medical and dental coverage so that if you had a spouse that who also worked for the town, let me start at the beginning. If you do not take life insurance, you're an employee for the town, and you don't take health care insurance with the town, we give you a payback. We give you money because we're not paying for your health coverage. The loophole here is if you and your spouse both work for the town, you could get the payback for the town not paying for your life insurance while your spouse is getting life insurance from the town. So what we're doing is we're pulling that loophole out. So if you both work for the town, you can't get a payout for not getting health insurance because your spouse is getting health insurance from the town.
Right. Okay. So I'm opening the public. Okay, seeing none.
It's not. It's actually if they are under 26 years old, we would not give them the payback the way this ordinance is written right now. Because they can go on the parent's insurance policy.
I just don't view that as different than if I'm able to be covered on my spouse's policy who works at a private company, I'm able to get the buyback. But if it's my parents who are paying for me, I'm not able to get the buyback. It just doesn't seem equitable to me.
Yes.
Mary Ann Oliveira,
No, Mary Ann.
Nancy?
please.
So way back when the, all right, sorry. Way back when the ordinance was originally written for children were off their parents at 21, or if they were at 19, or if they were in college, they stayed till 22. Then the federal government allowed dependent children to be on parental coverage to 26. Nobody thought about that. Come in and they're on their parents' coverage. We're not going to pay them for us to not have you take our insurance and get a buyback, then take our insurance. To answer your question, you were saying if the parents can't afford to cover their children, well, guess what? They need to have the coverage with our parents. When they hit 26, then they can get,
Back is
well, generally
compensation because
speaking,
somebody else is paying for it.
generally speaking, and I'll speak for the town of Barrington, but I know there's other levels of coverage. There's parent and child, parent and spouse, parent and family. Here at the town of Barrington, you either take, always exception.
Both work. And so we both have the option to get health insurance through our, from my employer, because I'm covered under his.
Mhm.
I would really appreciate the $8,000 to add
Sure.
to my salary.
Sure.
So I think of it in the same spirit here, is that if it seems to me that they should be is paying both for the
Mhm.
child under 26 and parent who is a dependent of another employee in town, that to me makes sense that they should not have the option of the buyback. But it seems
One thing you probably need to consider is we have a number of 6-year-olds, especially firefighters and police officers, that are currently under their parents and are not getting buybacks. That's the spouse issue. And decided we wanted to put it documented in this ordinance. So as Mary Ann said, no employee is going to be denied insurance. If they can't get it, if their parents don't have it, then we will provide it for them. What we're not doing is when a young person who is still eligible by federal law to be on their parents' policy, we're not giving them the buyback. That's what we're recommending.
and I understand the financial implications, but I do think that the spirit of changing it is to be able to provide someone with the option who comes to a
So let's say, and off the top of my head, I think it's around 3,000, but don't quote me on that. So we give them the 3,000 when they're age 25 and 26. Now we pull it away from them, at 26,
Right.
because now they're on our insurance. So their salary is going. Just keep that in mind.
So as I'm reading this last sentence,
Mhm.
So
Barrington. You can't have one person getting the insurance and the other one getting the buyback when it's both under the town, whether it's
Exactly.
school and town or town and town. It's under
Yeah.
both.
I think we're, at least 4 of us are in general and on the spousal provision.
Mhm, mhm.
The age provision is broadly written
Mhm.
and I think needs to be further defined. Accept that. And I would like to see financial numbers and the practical implications of that as well.
Mhm.
But that's our hang up.
Amendment to Chapter 63, Section 63-8. This is a matter that is closely aligned with the next full item on our agenda, the public hearing on to vastly more in support than opposed. And I know too that that Councilor Castell has met with both the owner of the Montessori school and the owner of, give us just a few seconds on what they've kind of relayed to you.
Well, the major concern, as I that happened, is businesses, but the heart of it, and then ended 6 during the week. There was no objection to what I would propose would be to allay any concerns and to compromise in a way that serves both parties. And I believe this is acceptable based on my conversations with the proprietor noon and later on with the closure of government offices. That I think would meet the needs of Prince Ali's while also addressing the concerns of the Montessori school, because we do want to respect the rights of neighboring businesses to operate as they see fit and to maintain their properties as they see fit. And I thought that was a fairly good compromise solution. The proprietors of Prince Ali's are supportive of that and can accept that solution. And so, although I think just logically, as long as the school, you're not seeing traffic in that school after 5:30, certainly nowadays, I think that's optimal for addressing both concerns. And that would be the pivot point that I would strike a compromise on.
Okay, thank you for that. Before I open the public hearing, I wanted to see if anyone else had anything to say, just to sort of frame the discussion. I would just say for myself, I would be inclined to follow that. We're all going to keep open minds and listen to whatever's said, but I am inclined to expand the number of licenses based on kind of saying where they are now. Reason I ask that is many years ago, Prince Ali came before us for a license to a victualling license and brought a ton of people in support. And the then president could tell that these people really wanted to support him, but everyone in the room wanted to support him. So we kind of cut short a lot of the discussion by finding out early that everyone was on the same page. So I just wanted to see if anyone feels into what anyone has to say. Yes, Vice President Hum.
Sure, thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. I too support the approval of the license, subject to what folks have to say. It's been impactful before, so it can be impactful again, so I don't want to dissuade anybody if you have something to say. I think I said at the last meeting, I think Prince Ali's Kebab.
In that case, I have to say I'm really impressed by the compromise that's come together, and I think that it works for everybody. I know that staff have been really difficult for small businesses, specifically those that rely on eat-in dining, and I think that, and I'm fully supportive of the license.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah, I'm inclined to support it as well.
So I would ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes, and if you want to talk again at the end, we can go through it, but we'll take folks in order if this idea. Does anyone from the public want to be heard on this? Okay, please come forward. Mr. Rimashitis.
How are you? Tom Remishitis, 1 Howard. Are we skipping on different items? I thought we were on 2021-16 and an ordinance. Now we're talking about coincide with that?
They are connected
Okay.
because we can't grant Ali kebabs unless we approve 2021-16.
Okay. And public comment, did we skip that?
We did, but that was my fault, and we're going to come back to that after.
You guys just speak a little closer to the mic because it's really hard to hear you.
Sure. Okay. Does anyone from the public want to be heard on 2021-16? Please come forward, sir. Hi. You can sit down, please.
I just want to speak in a pretty humble convenience store to the restaurant that they are now. And just want to see them have the same shot that the rest of the restaurants in town do. I mean, my kids went to the Montessori school. It's a good place. Shouldn't interfere.
Great.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Excuse me, can I have your
could you-
name?
Jason Haas.
Thank you. Anyone else? Amy, is this where we would add restrictions?
The isn't attached to any one particular license, although you know it's necessary. So any conditions or restrictions to be imposed on the new license should be done in conjunction with the
Delta variant. In that case,